The Source.
All right, Robin, I picked this bumper music for a reason. Because the way this sounds is the way men think.
That's right.
This is the way men think. Now, how do I explain anything beyond that? I don't know, because, I work in radio, but I don't have many words. Shirley Baldwin is on the phone. She has written a book for you, ladies. It's called Get What You Want From Your Man. Shirley is a certified transformational life coach whose clients include women in transition, children, Major League Baseball players. Mm-hmm. Robin, where's that music? Olympian gymnasts, college basketball stars, couples, celebrities. She's the host of her Get What You Want podcast, and it's an honor to have her on the show. Shirley Baldwin. Good morning, Shirley. Thank you for waiting during that amazing introduction.
Oh, it was so entertaining. Thank you. I feel like I have a walk-up music now.
Where are you? Where are you calling from?
Phoenix, Arizona.
Phoenix. All right. How's Phoenix today? It must be nice out there, huh?
It's nice. Yeah. It's always nice. Always blue sky.
It's always blue skies. Always blue skies in Phoenix. So tell me about we always wonder what the other sex wants, and it seems like it doesn't matter how old we get. We don't really get each other. Why is that?
It's crazy. I've wondered that a lot. I'm like, why? What was the purpose of this? Why were we made so different? But yeah, I think that sometimes we're just so stuck in our own perspective that we don't stop to maybe take the time to seek the perspective of the other. But
there's two thoughts I have on this. One is understanding women in general. And then I think, well, why would I want to know that? I just need to know the one woman I care about. Why do I need to know the rest of them, right?
Well, some may say that she'll change it along the way.
Exactly.
Everything in our life is relationships. So every woman you come upon, I don't know that you'll always completely understand us, but it's nice to have a general. But I think men are way easier.
Are there clues in cosmopolitan articles? I mean, for us guys, are there clues? And this is a book for women, I know, but are there clues out there? Are there clues for women? I don't know that the things that are men's magazines give you any clue about us, because I think they're all exaggerating us a lot.
Yeah, Larry, I think that this book is for everybody, even though I wrote it specifically for women. I've had plenty of men read it and be like, wow, yeah, you kind of get it. But yeah, if you want to go to Cosmopolitan, you're going to learn how to manipulate, control, play head games to get what you want. And
okay.
I do it differently.
Okay, now we're getting to the heart of this, right? So what? Mm-hmm. So how many? Tell Robin what the book says.
I read the book.
Oh, Robin read the book.
Here.
Oh, Robin read the book. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Ooh, then maybe Robin should pick her favorite part.
I love the part where you say men are visual and physical, but they also have emotions, and that's some things that women either don't want to understand or don't want to acknowledge because they feel that they are competing with the man and they don't want the men's emotions to be greater than the female.
Yes. Wow, that's huge.
I'm confused.
I would say I've probably interviewed over, hundreds of men, and I said, what are your top 3 things that you want? And every single time, except for you kind of have some of those jerk men that have been in so many relationships, they're like, oh, I just want sex. That's it.
Right.
But I would say 99% of every man said affection, love, kindness. Yeah. Same thing that we want.
But is it accomplished the same way?
No.
Okay. That's what I figured. Because there's no way, getting a bunch of flowers isn't going to do anything for me, to be honest with you.
So imagine you walk in the door after a long day at the radio station, and your woman says, "Wow, hey, handsome, meet you at the door with a kiss."
Yeah, baby.
Tells you how
Sounds good.
grateful she is
That sounds
about
good, yeah.
how you went to work.
That is
right?
nice, yeah.
What would you? I mean, like, wouldn't that make you want to give her whatever she wants at that moment? Like, hey, wait a minute, I want to just give you whatever you want.
Yeah, that sounds like the key to the car, and whatever.
As
That's the thing.
Oh, go ahead.
I think that I just think that we're all searching for something to fill a void. And so once we start getting our needs met, the wants trickle.
I think so too.
We may think we want a new car or a new house or go shopping. But when your husband shows up in a way that's powerfully, what you need, then you want to be with him, or you want, you start to think of other things that you want, not all the material.
Well, you've got a lot of objectivity in your book, and you have to in your profession as a life coach. But we also know that you're a newlywed. So is this hard for you now to put it on a personal level?
No. So I've been married for a year now, and I had gone through 3 rough marriages and divorces for 20 years. And during that time, I kept thinking it was their fault, like everything was their fault. And like, why can't I pick a good man? And I read every single book out there, how to, all those manipulation books.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
I read, it worked for a little bit, and I could tell you every modality in the world of how to figure out how to make my man change. And what I learned was I needed to change. And I looked within myself, and I started realizing the things that I was doing wrong, or that I was doing that wasn't achieving what I wanted, and that I had actually been creating those relationships. And so when I learned that, I decided when I went into my next relationship, I was going to use my own approach that I had been coaching couples with successfully for the last 15 years. Uh-huh. And it worked. And I have a very blissfully happy marriage, and it's wonderful.
So can we hear more? I want to know the details. What did you do?
Okay, so well, I'll tell you a little bit of personal stuff. My husband is an anesthesiologist, and he came from a world where his previous wife, was just abusive. We want to say that, but like very hard on him, not cuddly, not kind. Everything was they were just trying to get what they wanted from each other all the time.
Oh.
And he was a reactor, just like he would react to everything. And I was like, okay, I need to use my own techniques, because this was my best friend at the time. And we had decided that we were going to date and, have this relationship that was on a different level. And I realized that the more kind and soft and complimentary and communicative I was, the more he was willing to open up. And it literally was like our first argument, I had to climb on his lap and hold his face with my hands and say, "Don't you shut down on me."
Oh my.
Don't you shut down on me. And now he's like, "Hey, can we argue about something?" Because really, honestly, learning how to communicate changes your whole world.
Well, that's the best thing then, because sometimes people feel embarrassed to say their innermost feelings to their partner, that they might look stupid or not caring, and then all of a sudden you've got all of this bottled up inside of you, and it just comes to a head one day, and all of a sudden you're not together anymore.
You're right. And where a really good start is to say, or to ask, what is it like being in a relationship with me? Mm-hmm. And then give the person time to talk.
Well, if we know what you want, it makes it a lot easier. Sometimes we don't know what you want.
Right?
Like you said
every man has said that.
You said earlier that men are easy, and probably that's because we don't want a whole lot. I'm just guessing that that's part of it, right? Not that women want more, but we assume that you want what we want, and that's not accurate,
Exactly.
is it? That's not the way God made us, is it?
It's not. I would say the three things that men want, the most common things, would be one, affection, physical touch, intimacy, just kindness, Number two would be admiration. When I ask my husband to get a box down off the shelf and I say, hey, can you get that box down off the shelf? Or if I say, hey, babe, do you mind lifting that box down so I can watch your sexy guns float off the shelf for me?
Okay.
I'm telling you, it works 100% all the time.
Okay.
And I mean it, right? And then communication. Instead of saying nothing, what's wrong, nothing, say, well, there is something wrong. Do you have time that we can talk about it?
Right.
We sit and talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think so. I think we do want... You said something interesting about your current husband. You said you were friends. And to me,
Yeah.
I have a real quick story I want to share with you. I knew a guy who was dating a girl who could have been a model. And, I mean, she was wonderful, she was beautiful, and she was nice, but she didn't seem like she was the right person for him. And guess what? They ended up breaking up, and it broke his heart. And one day I said to him, I said, I liked her and everything, but she wasn't really your friend. I think you were with her because she was really pretty. And a few years later, I think it was not even a year later, he was with a woman. We were all young at that time. and he was dating this woman, and I said to him, I don't want to say his name, but anyway, I said, this is your friend, this person now. Now you have a friend, somebody who laughs with you, somebody who likes to go out and have fun with you. And then the sex and the other things that men want is better.
For sure.
Am I hitting the target the right way or something?
Oh, for sure. I often compare men and dogs, which sounds horrible, but everybody loves their dogs.
No, we are exactly like dogs.
And I think you pet them, right? Pet them, play ball with them, get interested in what they're interested in, praise them, you'd be excited to see them. Everything, if you think about that, and then give them a leash, but also be like, squirrel, come back, come back.
Oh my! Oh my!
I think we could just go on and on, but really, I say that as a term of endearment. I feel like men are pretty simple.
Yeah, well, we are.
And
we are. But
and I think, yeah.
But I think, going back to the thing I said earlier, you said every man said this to you too. That I think the thing is, we don't know what you want, and I don't mean just do you want flowers, or do you want Cheerios for breakfast, or do you want to go on a walk? This is the thing. In the personal ads when I was younger, I don't look at these anymore, but all the ladies' ads said, I like to walk long walks on the beach, and I'm thinking, gosh, what is it with the long walks on the beach? Why would you want to do that? So. So then you know what to say. She says, well, what do you like? I say, I like long walks on the beach, even though I'm lying. But I'm thinking, right? And next thing you know, we're in Daytona, and we're walking a mile, and I'm done. I don't want to go any farther. That's long enough.
Exactly. I'll tell you what women need, too, if we're going to turn it that way. And I think the walk on the beach is just it's just asking for affection, right? It's asking for presence. So if you think about, first of all, we love faithful. Every woman wants a faithful man. They want to believe, we want to believe that we are someone's entire world. And that's really hard in our society.
Well, that's a good thing to be, though, is to be faithful.
Huge. Yeah. On both sides,
right?
Men and women.
Yeah. We want stability, both sides, and we want our heart to be protected. Men think that women want money. They want stability, and sometimes we think about that as money, but it's everything. It's stability, it's a solid place. But when you think about a man and woman's mind, men are in a house, and there's a million rooms in the house, right? Sometimes they're in the football room, sometimes they're in the food room, work room, boat room, motorcycle room, and then there's a room for us in there too. And sometimes we get our feelings hurt because we want you to stay in that room all the time. Because our mind is spaghetti. So it doesn't matter what we're doing, like all roads lead to you.
Yeah.
And so I think that if men can, like, that it's just attention. They want a long walk on a beach because they get to have you and your attention and your presence. And so that's where they think that they can have that.
Ah, that makes sense. I never heard it explained that way before.
I've seen and heard some women, they make their significant other the butt of their jokes, and then they get the other women to laugh, and then the other women follow suit. And I think that's really very distasteful. How do you keep women from doing that?
Well, I would say that it's a lot easier to be negative than positive. I don't know why, but our society just accepts it more. And then it's like we're going to have this whole one-up. Let's one-up, let's one-up, let's one-up. And it makes people feel not so bad, right? Misery loves company. But what I have found is that what we are looking for, we get, no matter what. And so if we are looking for the positive, we're going to get positive. If we're looking for the negative, we can find evidence for that. Whatever we're searching for, there's evidence for. And so I challenge women a lot, especially like in my husband's field in the hospital, there's so much negativity. And I challenge women in my groups and friends to be positive. Start the positive conversation, because nobody wants to feel left out. So if someone's talking negative, they're going to be like, oh yeah, well, this happened to me. And it just like is this snowball effect. But when you can be positive, it's crazy how much positive come out, and it can literally switch a mind and an entire relationship.
So how do you help the relationship where you've got a couple and then all of a sudden one of the partner leaves and the other partner didn't want it to end? Is there any hope for salvation, or should the partner that didn't want to have the other person leave, should they just forget everything and move forward?
Well, I feel like there's just there's a place to open up some communication there. And like, obviously there's so many variables. A lot of times people leave because they want someone to fight for them. And so, I would say the very first thing to do is to set up like a conversational domain. Like, we're going to set up a date and we're going to talk about this. And even say like, why did you leave? What is it like being married to me or in a relationship with me? And listen. We often just don't listen. And by the time it gets to that point, a lot of times it's really too late to save it. But not always. I feel if there are feelings there of anger or frustration, those are still feelings. And as long as we have feelings, we can switch those.
The book is called Get What You Want from Your Man, a guide to creating the relationship you deserve. It's getting good ratings on Amazon. You're doing really good on Amazon. I see a 5-star rating pretty much across the board, completely across the board. Everybody giving you, oh, look at you. You're pretty. Look at you. Wow. Okay, hold on. I was distracted by the author.
He's a man.
All right, so let's see. The book just came out. Oh, no, it didn't. Oh, it came out last year, right? Almost a year ago?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And are you getting feedback from people whose lives have been improved from the advice?
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Tell me about that.
I think when I first put it out in the world, I was like, oh my gosh, I just sold 1,000 copies. All these people know about my life. And it's scary. But I haven't actually got negative feedback yet. And I feel like that's such an honor. But the feedback I get is I feel like you're sitting across from me in a coffee shop talking to me. And so every person has said that.
Yeah.
And wow, I am already putting these things in practice, and my entire relationship is different. Some people have read it as a couple because the same things apply across the board to men and women. So yeah, I was very surprised to have so much good reviews.
I want you to talk to the couple who this applies to. Ready? They both say this, and this is, I'm just making this up. This is not me, nor is it somebody I know, just so you know. We love each other, but we're not in love anymore. How do you fix that? How do you fix that problem?
Well, first of all, like, really, what even does that mean? Right? It's like almost an excuse to be able to I don't know, get out of something or
Yeah, you're right. Sounds like it, yeah.
Bring up something. It's just like an excuse because we don't really know what the distinction between those are. Everyone has their opinion, but I would say it's time to go on a vacation, break away, meet somewhere in a mutual place. I talk about in my book like meeting in the middle of a field from a roomie, and I would say that it's time to start asking powerful questions. What is it like being in a relationship with me? What am I doing? Here's another thing. We always want to win, right? We always want to be right. Lots of pride. Something that I think even would help people listening right now is today, think about this. Our entire life, we're given a right box and a wrong box. Everything goes into one or the other. If we think we're right, what does that make the rest of everything?
I like that.
Right?
Yeah.
So if we think we're right, there in between those two boxes is this huge place called just is. And when we can start realizing that maybe we're not right, maybe it just is what it is. Everyone has their own perspective. It opens up this huge space for acceptance. And when there's acceptance, there's perspective. When there's perspective, there's positivity. When there's positivity, love comes from that.
I like that. That makes sense. Let's see. I have a copy of the book here. If we have a listener who would like it, you'll have to call 622-9622. I'll pick one call at random, and it's yours. The rest of us have to go buy it. I did find it on Amazon. Again, you're doing really well. You have a couple different versions, the Kindle and the paperback version. And do you have a website you'd like to direct us to?
I do. It's getwhatyouvantguru.com.
Get what you want.
You can find my books, my website, everything, yeah. And it's in most bookstores, most major bookstores, everywhere, online, Walmart, Target, Barnes & Noble, like everywhere.
All right, and I have somebody calling for the book. Let me give it away. Good morning, you've got the book. Who's this?
Yes, this is Jennifer.
Jennifer, you got the book.
Thank you very much. I need it for my daughter.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, my gosh. The phone's lit up on this one. You got a popular book. Shirley Baldwin, thank you so much. That was fun. Thank you for being on the show with us today.
Of course, and the first person who sends me a message on my website, I will send them a book also.
And tell me the website again.
It's getwhatyouvantguru.com.
Getwhatyouvantguru.com. Thank you, Shirley.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. We'll be right back.
AccuSleep offers a safe and effective medical option for those who suffer from sleep disorders of all kinds. AccuSleep makes restoring healthy sleep patterns possible. No medication